向生命历历，虚空含随业，狂心当下息。弟子不漏地，向生命历历，虚空含随业，狂心当下息。Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon to you. My name is Heng Shi. It is Saturday, October 14th, here in the Gold Coast of Queensland. It's a Friday, October 13th, in other parts of the world, and glad to be with you. How is the voice? Okay, glad you caught it, Chun Yu. Thank you for that. I was halfway into my greeting when I realized my microphone was off. No. So, hope you're all well. Blessings to everybody. Turn on original sound. There we go. Um, we are counting here in Australia on everyone voting yes on the voice, a referendum to include Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in their own governance. So we'll see how that goes. Um, our thoughts will also be directed to the quelling the thoughts of war in the minds of people in the Middle East and around the world. See how that goes. Let's begin today. Vera is once again going to kindly request Dharma all the way from Sao Paulo, Brazil. So let's bring up our Dharma request form, which is right here. And first thing I'm going to do is ring the bell twice. Okay, my voice is too soft. Let's see. Ah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We'll make this, let's see, level. Ah, I see. Here we go. Boost it up. Okay, that should be better. Okay, how is that? I hope that's better. Okay, you can hear now. Adjusting microphones. Right, good. Okay, going to ring the bell 3 times and invite everyone to join me in bowing to the Buddha as we request Dharma. Let's go. Second bow. Third bow. All right. Okay, Vera, if you would like to request Dharma, just a moment. Let's bring up the screen. Here we go. Okay, please do it. I'm ready.
恭敬大德圣经，为悉发挥具切众生，请转妙法轮教导我们。如何了生脱死离苦得乐，出者无生。Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, For the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to live suffering and attain bliss and end birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi sanmiao sanputoshe.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahodi samyao samputoshe.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. Venerable Master, Dharma friends, welcome. Thank you all for joining this morning, this afternoon. Glad to have you here. Let's acknowledge country. We respectfully acknowledge the Kombumerri people of the Ugambi language region as traditional storytellers and custodians of the land where this monastery is located. We pay our respects to their elders past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 就说我们恭敬地承认有甘贝语族的哥伦比亚丽人是我们寺院所在地的传统叙事者和守护人。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且向所有从未放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。We did it. Okay. Moving forward here, today is an important day here in Australia. It's the day that everyone votes. Lots of feelings around it. We'll see how it comes out. The bell sound wide resounds throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生传三千界内，佛法扬万亿国中，共训起法界和平，利益报贪有后德。May it be so. All right. Here we go. We'd like to say that folks who, there we go, folks who would like to request Dharma, please give it a consideration. You might try it. Vera originally didn't speak Chinese, but listen to how nice her Chinese sounds, right? So you too. Even if you only speak one language, we can arrange to have someone help you with the other one. Also, if you would like to listen to today's lecture in Vietnamese, we have a Vietnamese translation. Look to the chat box and find the link and click there. Further, I'd like to acknowledge with gratitude the kind-hearted volunteers who are making this lecture hearable in Mandarin and who are also getting all of us here together at the right time. by keeping our correspondence up to date. Appreciate all of you and 表示致敬. So, Bernie and Xingfei have to go early. No problem. No worries. Thank you for joining, even a bit. We have friends today from Sao Paulo, Brazil, from Ukiah, California, from Malaysia, from Sydney, New South Wales, Campbell, California. Hey, Brian. Danville, California. Hi, Katrina. Hong Kong, Gold Coast, Sunnyvale, Montreal, Round Rock, that's in Texas. Oslo, Norway, way up north. Alameda, Heilongjiang, Berkeley, California. Foster City, California. Los Altos, Seattle. Jakarta, Taipei. Hi, Jin Shi, welcome. Seattle, Washington, Dr. Vu. Switzerland, yes. Let's see here, Ukiah, where else? Ukiah, Dharma Realm Buddhist University. Hey, Kitty Sorrow. Grass Valley, Los Angeles, Stockton, San Rafael, Singapore, San Francisco, London, St. Petersburg, Florida, East Coast, Mesa, Arizona, San Francisco. Where else? San Jose, Elk Grove, Shandong, Oakland, California, San Ramon, Oklahoma, yes. Okay, Vietnam, Virginia, Taipei. Okay, Heilongjiang, Harbin, Jilin, that's Jilin, Jilong 是香港, Jilong, Taipei. Okay, let's see, where else? Heilongjiang, Suzhou, Shengheshi, Jilin, 安徽淮南市，黑龙江、山东、北京、唐山、河北、海南、深圳、浙江。Where else？ 温哥华，那个地方。南京，从南京来的。上海，温哥华，上海。Good。欢迎欢迎各位 ，Welcome everyone. So glad you're here. That's really fun to go down the list. If I had told my long-suffering, kind-hearted Chinese teacher back in high school that in the future his efforts would allow somebody from Toledo to communicate to friends from so many places in China, he would have said, "Mr. Clowry, good for you." He would have said, all right, good for all of us. Take a look here. We've got something special today. Look at that. Beautifully laid out. This is our story in our biography of Master Empty Cloud, Xuyun Lecture. We're hearing about his life. This is a bilingual experience, and the time that I gave people a deeper look at the Chinese characters, I think there was a good response. Something that I love to investigate because they come alive in wonderful ways. So I'm going to, when it's appropriate, when there's an opportunity, I'm going to also take us, for example, we can bring up the Chinese and look at these characters and how wonderful the stories they tell. Because they appeal to a different part of the brain. At the same time that they carry meaning, they also activate the right side of the brain, the sign-making part of the brain. Okay, let's look at the Chinese here. And by the way, there's stories within stories. I know many of my Chinese friends watching friends in China are not familiar with 繁体字, also known as 正体字. If they grew up reading simplified characters, traditional characters are a challenge to them. They haven't seen them before. So don't assume that for Western eyes who have never seen these before, that you're unique and alone. In fact, there are many Chinese natives who grew up reading a very different font than you did. So these are all fresh for us, which is kind of fun in a way. Here we go. There's a title, number 15, Li Su Xie Zong Di. Now this Cong is read Zong for in this case. All right. Being accompanied by his cousin Fu Guo, he leaves lay life behind. Master Empty Cloud is 19 years old. It's 1858. The American Civil War has not yet broken out. And the Chinese goes like this. Gong yu zong di fu guo shou zu qing shan xiong you di gong. 复国对佛法艺术有研讨，古与公志同道合，趣味相投。是亦于19之年，叹息福州鼓山之旅程。携富国同往，别时作皮带歌一张，赠天坛二世。All right. Which says, between the master and his first cousin Fu Guo was a deep bond of fraternal friendship and respect. Fu Guo also had previously explored the Buddha Dharma and had the same aspiration as the master, so they amicably traveled the path together. In his 19th year, the master, accompanied by Fu Guo, started the journey to Gushan Drum Mountain in Fuzhou to leave home. Before leaving, he wrote the Ode to the Skin Bag, which he left behind for the Tian and Tan women. Here's our picture. Ooh. What have we got? Very old trees. Wow. There are trees just like that in China that are just so ancient. Having a pagan indigenous religion like Taoism really helps. Occasionally, mind you, much of China's forests were cut down millennia ago, just so many people. But they managed to save some. And China has a lot of wilderness, mountains where nobody can get to cut down the trees. Nobody can go. So here's an example. Ancient trees. Look at the two little figures making their way along the path, holding their belongings over their shoulders in sacks, rucksacks. But humanity is also here, so notice the structure, the house, the building, probably a monastery in the back, in the mountains. Here are some mushrooms under the trees. I don't see any birds. Maybe that's a bird. You know what they say in China? In all of the, what do they say? All the good mountains are owned by Buddhists and Taoists. So contemplative people have long known that going somewhere where the air is clean, where the vistas are long and far, and the vibration of nature surrounding you is conducive to stillness, that's where you want to go to cultivate. So here are the two men doing that. Shifu's verse says, 佛化堂地度阿难，恭写富国上古山，殊途同归一鼻孔，彼丈夫兮我依然。 The Buddha instructed his first cousin, taking Ananda across. The master brought along Fuguo and climbed Gushan. Although from different walks of life, they shared the same intent. How like the courageous heroes of old was the Master Yun. So this story celebrates friendship, kinship, brotherhood. I I took a look at the 20 episode video story of Master Xuyun, Master Empty Cloud, a century of empty cloud, which was commissioned years ago. And in the first couple episodes, Fuguo, his cousin, Master Empty Cloud's cousin, appears, and he's they when they had the young boys for the first episode, and they cast them very well. The kids are cute. Master Empty Cloud is portrayed as pretty stuffy, kind of stiff, and oh, there we go. His cousin is the dumpy sidekick. Anybody who's familiar with American soap operas, or I guess movies, typically rom-com movies typically have the same plot line. Even in when I was growing up, Hopalong Cassidy. You have to be a certain age to remember Hopalong Cassidy, but Hopalong Cassidy had as his buddy his pal Jingles, and Jingles was what's called comic relief. The hero, Hopalong Cassidy in this case, or Gene Autry, or Sky King, or all the different, the Lone Ranger had as his companion Tonto. So of these various heroes, there was always a second who was there to help you laugh. And Jingles was Hopalong Cassidy's comic relief. So in Bainian Shuyun, Master Empty Cloud is seen as such a righteous character, doesn't want to play. Everybody else wants to play, he wants to read good books, kind of thing. So to lighten him up, they portray Fuguo as not very wise, full of appetite. Okay, sure, let's do it. Kind of spontaneous character, living for the moment. And here in the picture biography, he's a soulmate. He's a zhiyinzhe, one who knows his cousin's sound. So I prefer, what was the reality? Maybe somewhere in between, but certainly they were good friends. And growing up, if you have one good friend like this, you're somehow many layers of built what do you say, hardwired circuitry in our nature, in our brains, get activated. Where if you think about that, being social creatures, we arrive in the world with the capacity and kind of the programming, you could say, to respond to brothers, to sisters. We can be twins, we can be triplets or more. We have friendship muscles, friendship programming that is all there, able to light up and function. We just know how to do that. And there are rules, but once once it's in place, we are good at being companions. Of course, one of the expressions of that is a marriage, parents. But just the idea of fraternal, platonic friends, that's a wonderful programming that we know how to do. Um, in our generation, we're seeing it replaced by relationships with machines as never before. Um, when we were on horseback, the century or so in traditional cultures, the centuries, the thousands of years that we've been on the backs of large animals, horses, that kind of friendship was completely removed from humanity within 15 to 20 years when the automobile arrived. Imagine what it was like in our grandparents' generation when they knew about hitching posts, they knew about horseshoes, they knew about horse poop, where not to step, they knew how to feed horses, where horses lived, barns, stables, farriers, blacksmiths. All of those realities vanished in a short time. Horses were no longer something we related to. You didn't have to know. We swapped that out for knowledge of motor vehicles. So human companionship, I wonder if it's going to go the way of the horse. That we will just prefer AI powered robot companions because they don't fight, they don't argue, they don't cheat or lie, I suppose. What do you think? The interim step is our smartphone, for sure. Okay, not to go too far on that. Here is Master Empty Cloud's friend. And not only that, the other important part is 出家. He is leaving home. Now, to become a bhikshu, to take the full precepts, you have to be 20. But to begin your study, you can be any particular age. And he's going to Gushan Drum Mountain in Fuzhou, which is a traditionally respected ordination center. In Taiwan, we have what? Fa Gushan. So, Dharma drum, but this is called Drum Mountain. And Master Empty Cloud wrote this ode to the skin bag. Now, before we go any further, I want to let people know. Let me say it in Chinese. 如果各位想看简体字的话，你们先看这个 chat room chat box 里边，一换给我们可以去的一个网站，这个网站有简体字。对了，哦，你看简体字。Here it is. So, if people would like to see simplified characters instead, you can do so. Here is today's lesson in 简体字。Okay? 那个 bookmark 那个书签你们自己画了哈，好不好？你们就立了，这样子简体字也可以看。Okay, you can see your own simplified characters. For those folks who think, what is he talking about? Here are simplified characters. That's the way they look. Compared to these. Okay. No comment. There we go. Now, what is? Let's take a look. The story goes, this young man has got 2 fiancées. He has 2 promised wives. Yes, 2. Uh, there were reasons to do that, and it was okay in China to provide a stable family relationship, legal, respected, protected, uh, completely esteemed in society, to have more than one wife. In this case, it was because there were family issues that, because the young woman needed a husband, Master Empty Cloud was recommended by his grandmother to take to shelter in both women. Um, in my experience, we had a fine Vietnamese doctor in San Jose whom I used to go visit regularly, and he had three wives. The reason for two of them was to save their lives during the evacuation of Vietnam. So he did marry them for the same reason. I guess you could say humanitarian reasons. And this doctor was a big-hearted man. I liked him a lot. And he was virtuous. His reason for taking three wives was not gluttony, was not polygamy, not illegal, but he had saved them from being basically abandoned. So, yeah, stories. So, okay, two young women did not actually have a husband at home. They stayed in the family, the extended family, while their fiance went off to leave home. Oh, ouch. Think about that. Leaving home is, you could say, never without pain, rarely without pain, occasionally painless. But chu cha, you come out from the comforts, the security, the familiarity, the ease, the convenience of social life to face an uncertain future. What can you say about becoming a monk, becoming a nun? You don't know. You are taking a risk in order to be reborn from the words of the Buddha, to be reborn from the Dharma. It's a challenge. It's never been easy. You look at the Buddha himself, Shakyamuni, the prince, what he broke in order to leave home, what the social structures that he abandoned in order to seek liberation from lifetimes of suffering. Oh, indeed. And he did. He did. And he became the Buddha. Yay! I'm so glad he did. Uh, but it's hard. There are tears. There are regrets. And regrets on the part, there are not regrets on the parts of leaving home people, but those whom they leave behind would much rather keep those relationships the same. And yet, and yet, when we get past that initial pain of rearranging the relationships, the monastic, the new monk or nun, has a way to be involved in the life of the family in a new, broader, richer, deeper, more authentic way. It's true. I never would have thought when I left home that I was going to become connected to all of the parishioners of the Berkeley Monastery, for example, in a way that allowed me to serve them in unimaginable ways. As a monk, as the pastor of the community, you get to know the people, the stories of the families in ways that you never ever would if you were just another uh, member of the community, member of a nuclear family. Um, I get to know all of the troubles between the couples, the troubles with the children, the troubles with the elders, and also their joys and their successes and their aspirations and their hopes. It's amazing to watch a family uh, give birth to a child who then becomes an infant, who becomes an adolescent, who grows up and becomes a father or a mother and a college graduate and a successful member of the community. To watch that happen and watching the parents age and then pass away. Um, it's a kind of a gift from the point of view of the monastic who is able to um, provide comfort, companionship, insight, stability, familiarity, and be a source of dharma as well. You know, who would have thought? I had no idea that was part of being a monk. Um, it's my ability, monks and nuns' ability to enter into families is multiplied by leaving home. That's the big surprise. So you pay it back. My mother said, you know, she said, when you left home, I went through some very dark times. My friends used to say, oh, poor Debbie. Her son went to Berkeley and then just basically stepped off the planet, my mom would say. And then she would say, but now when I hear your voice on the phone, it's just always so energetic and upbeat and happy. And you know what else? I'm much comforted to know that my son will never be divorced. My son will never be bankrupt. My son will probably never have a nervous breakdown. My son very likely will never commit suicide or be incarcerated for a major crime. He will probably never be alcoholic or addicted. That's a great comfort to a mother. And you think, yeah, think of all the things that leaving home avoids, the problems that are with us just by being alive in a body in society. Monks and nuns avoid a lot of that misery. Furthermore, my mother said, and she said the best part, she said, those same friends who used to say, oh, poor Debbie, you know what they say now? They call me up and they say, Debbie, would you mind asking Heng Shi for a second opinion about this situation? We've got a problem in our family. She said, I may have lost a son, but I gained a monk. So, yeah, it's true that as a monastic, you get to serve in ways that, as a layperson, are not available to you. How wonderful is that? All right. So, take a look here. The Song of the Skin Bag, the Ode to the Skin Bag. Ode, is that how? Let's see here. Pictorial biography. Nope. Okay. Got to dig it up. Here it is. Right here. At age 19, as he left home, Master Empty Cloud wrote a song. 皮带歌, literally, skin bag song. There it is, Song of the Skin Bag. ode of this, to the skin bag. What is the skin bag? That's your body, my body, our body. A bag of skin. Here is a partial English translation by Liu Guanyu and Richard Hun, his British translator. Pi Dai Ge, Song of the Skin Bag. The skin bag is sung. 空界之前难名状，微因过后成寡爱. Before the empty eon, it had neither name nor form. After the Buddha awe-inspiring voice, it became a hindrance, talking about the body. 360节连结连体，84000毛孔在. 360 tendons are linked within the body, enclosed by 480,000 pores. So, talking about the body. 分三才和四大，长天筑地和气概. Divided, it splits into heaven, earth, and man. United, it combines the four elements. It supports heaven, props up the earth. But what of its metal? What's it about? 知因果辨时代，见故通今有蒙昧，知因密照观形态. Understand cause and effect, discern the times, survey the stupidity of past and present. So you get a feeling, right? This is Master Empty Cloud's, are they called Jeremiads? Is that what they're called? He is telling the world, it's a prophetic sound. He's telling the world what's wrong from the point of view of somebody who is leaving the world at this point. We have, I believe Dharma Master Heng made a translation, a better translation from our own BTTS. Let's see here. Song of the Skin Bag. Song. I should have looked this up before. See if we can get a, it has a nice cover, our translation. Nope. So let's do Amazon.com. Here we go. Amazon Australia. Oops, hope it's here. I could just do, let's see, Amazon.com. Here we go. Song of the Skin Bag of the Skin Bag. Let's see if it's out there. Not showing it here. BTTS. Master Hua, perhaps. No results. Okay, how about let's try BuddhistText.org. It may be on our website. BuddhistTexts.org. Search Song of the Skin Bag. There it is, there it is. Aha. Nice cover. Really nice cover. There it is. This is our publication by the Venerable Master Xuyun, Song of the Skin Bag. I like the color and the wooden fish. Composed by Master Xuyun, great modern Chan master, according to, was left behind for his two wives before he left home. They, the two of them, Miss Tian and Miss Tan, left home as well. It reflects his understanding of the world. It's very, yeah, I'll let you all decide here. This is it's called a pocket edition. It's a small book. Xiu Zhen Ben. This edition allows you to store it in your sleeve. So it's a sleeve book, stored in your sleeves, if you have big, long sleeves. Song of the Skin Bag, it's available, $4. You can buy it from our website. There you go. I think it's bilingual, if I'm not mistaken, in our version. Let me put it in the chat for everybody who wants to go out I have at various times attempted to sing it, put it into music, and it's a challenge. It's quite long. I'll show you how long it is. Here we go. Whoa. P dai ge, P dai ge. There it is. It's long. So it is not as long as the Zheng Dao Ge Song of Enlightenment, but it doesn't lend itself to easy singing. What it is, and this is the interesting part for us in our story, is it's Master Empty Clouds um, making his statement for why he is leaving home to his two brides, who then, based on his inspiration, do leave home with him, after him. So they wake up, they make the Bodhi resolve. Take a look at the photo on my desktop here. Master Mingyang, Shang Ming Xiayang, Lao Heshang, is the Dejie Heshang. He is the monk presiding over the ordination of 600 young men and women who are leaving home. I am looking properly abashed, kind of dazed there, holding my ruyi, holding my scepter, because he asked me to be the Jiemo Heshang, Dai Li Jiemo Heshang, the confessor acharya at this ordination. He said, "You can speak Chinese. Come on." But. So they're at Longhua Si, Dragonflower Monastery in Shanghai. So, trembling in awe, I followed Master Mingyang's lead. He was a wonderful, open-hearted man who made it through the Cultural Revolution in his robes. So, yeah. This process of leaving home, becoming a monk, Master Empty Cloud did it with his cousin at age 19. And the next story is receiving the complete precepts. Shou Ju Zu Bao Jie, taking the complete precepts. And he did it on Gushan at Yongquan Si. We'll find out all about this next week. This is our topic. Here's, you can see there's the Buddha. The Buddha looking like a bhikshu with his burn scars. Oh, what's going on here? So this is such an important part of the story that I just going to focus on a single episode. Look at this human experience. Leaving home, saying goodbye to the comfort of parents, of a spouse. He had two wives, and he preferred to sleep alone and pursue his spiritual awakening. Not easy to do, not easy. And some people say, "Oh, how selfish. You just break their hearts." Temporarily, yes, it's true. It is heartbreaking to have a child say goodbye. I'm not going to be staying under your roof. But what you embrace by leaving home is the larger family of not only humanity, the family of man, but the family of all living beings. When you leave home, you are going out of your natal, your birth household, or the family that you made once you married, and yet you're just over there on the mountainside or on the mountaintop or in the valley under a different roof, cultivating and working for the benefit of everyone. It requires you to expand the measure of your heart to see the value of having a son or a daughter, working with a family of men and women, as they say, living alone together, or living together alone in a monastic community with every physical requisite supplied: food, clothing, medicine, shelter, living an austere but sufficient and joyful life. That's the key. With so many lessons for humanity about how much is necessary to sustain your life, how much is your proper share of the resources of the planet, not wasting, not indulging, but sustaining your life just enough so that your spirit is liberated and you can look at you can't really see an expression on the faces of the young men, but there's a sense of adventure, a sense of being alive. And I taught a DRBU class yesterday on the Sixth Patriarch Sutra, and one of the questions was, what was it like to do 3 steps, 1 bow? And my answer was, when you, oh no, the question actually was, tell me about eating 1 meal a day. That was the actual question. The answer was alive. You feel every bite of food is someone else's kindness. Every day you wake up in your bed or wherever you're sleeping and put your feet on the floor, that's a day that you can serve. That's a day that you have the potential of taking the Dharma as your refuge instead of money or yourself or confusion or drunkenness or the things that people take refuge in that don't sustain. Furthermore, if you practice the Pure Land teachings, that's a day that you can make your way to a beautiful lotus flower in the family of Amitabha, which is a family worth joining. Oh my goodness. So there's so many rewards of the left home life. You have a perspective on time and space that the household does not. And this, there's one way. Last thing I want to say here is there's one way to talk about it that puts the household life down and talks about stupidity and talks about confusion and talks about drunkenness, born drunk and dying in a dream. I find that I have no need to do that anymore. At one point, it's kind of like you're pushing against it and you really don't want to be an at-home person. That's not so helpful. What is helpful is to look at the glories and the joys and the nobility and the meaning and the purpose of living as a Buddhist monastic, following the Buddha towards wisdom and compassion and service and generosity and virtue and patience and strength and samadhi and wisdom. Oh my goodness. To have those as your guiding star instead of, well, Let's crack open Netflix and see what's new. Maybe we could watch a comedy tonight instead of all those stupid action pictures, right? Living for entertainment is kind of like already dead, just not yet buried. When you live with a sense of tomorrow, I'm going to recite the Buddha's name with my whole heart and dedicate the merit to people who are suffering and have nothing to wake up for except more pain and more misery, right? So, yeah, not so helpful to say what's wrong with the home life, the householder's life, normal life. Monastics are very, very few. People say there's always this knee jerk question, yeah, well, what if everybody left home? Humanity would stop. I've heard that a lot. Well, can you make everybody leave home? If so, I'll entertain your question. That's not going to happen. Not everybody wants to. The householder's life is comfortable indeed. So, but it doesn't have the vision, it doesn't have the inspiration, the meaningfulness of a day as a left home person. If you want to taste the flavor, take the Eightfold Precepts next chance you get. Hey, you know what we got? We have an English translation of, let's see here. Jin Yongshi says that's the English translation. Let's see, online reading. Is this it? Close that. Molo. Pidago. Here's the Chinese. Where's the English? Is there one? 我们有英文吗？看不到。Okay. That's the Chinese, certainly, of the Pidago, Song of the Skin Bag. 放下皮带朝上升，皮带歌请君听。All right. We will proceed next week to Master Empty Clouds, the last message. There we go. Master Empty Clouds' actual leaving home, he's becoming a fully ordained bhikshu next week. We'll find out all about that. Alrighty. So good. That's not what I want. I want this one. Right there. Please do keep in mind the suffering going on in Israel and Palestine, and the suffering going on in Afghanistan, where there was severe earthquakes. The Afghani people are suffering, and the suffering ahead for citizens of the United States. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may our minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Ring the bell. Anybody who'd like to bow to the Buddha, you can join me. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. See you all next week. Amitofo. Thanks for joining. Bye now.